Hey, what's up guys, it's Brett here. Today I'm going to offer you guys some tips and tricks on how to rail fan at night. So here we are, we're in Muncie, Indiana. It is 1:09 a.m. and it's 36 degrees. It is April, so it's kind of weird, but I've been thinking of this video idea all day, and it'll probably be a few days to a week after you guys see this. Probably shouldn't have said that in the video. Depends on how fast I edit this. But I'm gonna give you guys some tips and tricks on how to rail fan at night, where you can, talk a little bit about lighting. I'm not exactly the best with cameras, so when we get to that, I'll go ahead and say that I'm not the best at cameras. How you should do it and all that other fun stuff. So stay tuned. I'm gonna tell you guys what to do, or some tips, I guess. Not exactly what to do, because I'm not an expert. I just happen to have a few tools with me that I can use to better my videos. And if you guys know that I've been doing this for a while, you guys have seen plenty of videos of me at nighttime. I wouldn't call myself an expert, but I would call myself pretty good at shooting videos at night. Not all of my videos are good, not all of them are bad, but I have learned a few things over the months and months that I've shot videos at night. Now this is probably not a good example because I'm just using my two lights up here. So when I go back and actually look at this footage, it's probably gonna look bad and have to be like, dang, I'm gonna have to redo this. But if it looks good, I'll keep it in. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get this video started. Yeah, cue the intro. Okay, so I'm gonna go and step out of the car here. I am on Tillotson Avenue, right across the McDonald's here. And as you can tell, it's not super bright over here. I mean, you have a little bit of lighting. I'm in this little strip area. You have a little bit of lighting from this incandescent bulb. Got some incandescent bulbs over there. Nothing too good. Nothing that's really going to help you see engines. Now, this area is good for daylight. It's not so good for nighttime. Now, we're gonna talk about a few of those things here in just a couple seconds. I do need to record this train though. It's very important. This is we in like Muncie Railfanning, I don't know, 178, I think. But anyway, enough of that stuff. We're gonna wait till this train passes. We're gonna go back to 6th Street where there's better lighting and also some more trains. And we're gonna go ahead and discuss a few things that you guys can do to help rail fanning at night. Sweet. All right, so we're here at 6th Street, and I was thinking of doing just a whole documentary of how and why I started this channel. What's up, dude? You see, because my shadow there and over there. I'm so cool. But 6th Street is so great because it's just so big and so wide open, and it just makes for great shots with the trains, northbounds or southbounds. Now the other side of 6th Street is decent. I mean, you do have to work with the switch heater as well as the maintainer box. Now this side of 6th Street is fantastic because they recently installed these floodlights here, and that gives a pretty decent coverage of light for the track. So how are we gonna rail fan when there's no almighty sun in the sky? Well, that's the question that I'm here to not answer for you guys, but give you a little bit of information on how you can do that. So we're gonna talk about location, lighting, and a little bit about cameras. The first thing we're gonna talk about is location. Now location can be kind of tricky because in the daytime, you can pretty much go wherever you want because you have the sun there, and it can light from, you know, like different angles and stuff. But at nighttime, there is no sun that you have at your disposal, per se. So what you have to do is you have to create artificial light. So here at 6th Street, we have these floodlights that I just mentioned that give a pretty good coverage, I guess, of the track and the light. Now these are good because they're not too dim, like that street light over there, as well as this other floodlight down there at the end of 6th Street. So those lights can be useful, however, they're not going to get you the the good image that you want. And you're gonna need to either do heavy editing and make it look grainy and awful and just not even worth it, or you're just gonna have to scrap the footage. So finding a good location with good lighting is gonna be your #1 priority when you're rail fanning at night. The next thing we're going to talk about is lighting. Now, lighting is kind of hard because there are so many different options that you have. First off, you're going to have your natural lighting, and this is going to be lights on buildings, street lights, lightings for businesses, all those types of things. Now, I'll get to car lights in a second, but that's going to be one of the first things that you're going to want to look for is where can I find the natural light that I don't have to either pay for or buy for myself. The second thing you're going to want to look for is lights that you are going to pay for. And you can go to Menards or Lowe's, you can pick up some heavy duty flashlights, and if you want to like tape those up to your stand or hold them, then you can do that. My big thing with that is it looks bad, and 9 times out of 10 you're probably only going to do that to catch the engine numbers if you're logging your engine numbers or you're putting them in the video title or the video description. So it's not the best thing that you can do, but it can be done. I'll go ahead and put some footage up on screen of one of the friends that I know doing that in some of his videos.
8061!
You can see the flashlight right here.
9571, 9798!
Now, is it the best footage? Not really. Could it be better? Maybe. But, if you're just going there for the engine numbers and you don't really care about the cars because nobody cares about the cars, flashlight or heavy duty light looks great. The next thing you can look for are floodlights, and these can kind of be iffy because I would say, at least the floodlights that I have, ooh, that's not good lighting. At least the floodlights that I have at home that my dad uses and I use, beep the red nose by the way, call me Rudolph, those lights are plug-in lights. So those can be useful if you have one of the newer trucks. This is not new. If you have one of the newer trucks that have the plug-ins on the back that allow you to plug either 2 or 3 prongs in there, that works great. You can get a pretty big light and you can set that on the ground like I set my phone down, and you can go ahead and record basically right next to that. The floodlight will probably give you enough light to see the train, and that will work out pretty well. I've never seen it done. That's just an idea that I literally just thought of. So you could try it. I don't know how well it would work, but there's definitely something that you can do. So yeah, that's just an idea. You can bring meme on my channel, cinder block or something to set it up on, so it's not just on the ground and having this awkward kind of like up tilt to it like I have with my phone. So that's an idea that you could also do. Okay, so the last thing we're going to talk about is cars. Now, cars are useful because you can orientate them any way you want, as long as you have the space to do so. We've talked about 6th Street, this big, just open area that you can put your car and orientate it however you want. Now, cars are useful because you have headlights, you can possibly have fog lights, and you can have add-ons as well. Now, I do realize that not everybody is going to have a light bar or some extra additive onto their vehicle. And I'm not advertising that you should go and purchase one of these, but it definitely does help. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys a clip of me just using the fog lights, the headlights, the fog lights and the headlights, the fog lights, the headlights, the light bar, and then just the light bar to show you the difference of what it looks like here at 6th Street. Now, am I saying that, this is the best way to do it? No. Now, obviously, when I come here, I combine it with the other lights. So the other lights that we've talked about before, like the floodlights that they have here in the building, combined with these lights, gives it just an overall amazing and perfect feel when you're going and recording trains. Now, if I move down a little bit towards the yellowish floodlight at the end of the lot where the signals are, would it be as good of a video? I'm not sure, because I don't do that, because I look for the lighting off of the building and I combine that with the lighting of my truck, and that adds for a really nice look to it. It looks clean, it looks crisp, it's just an overall really good image. Now, do you need to combine these? No, you don't. When I go to Perkins, I don't combine these lights with anything. Now I can go to the other side where the parking lot is and I can combine my, all of this. It's mainly just the light bar, but combining this light bar to the parking lot lights is pretty good, but it's not right up close to where I want my camera to be. Because if you put the camera too far away, then you know, you can run into some problems there with it not looking as good. Now this video right here is a perfect example. I am way too far from the tracks as NS 229 rolls southbound. It had NS 4000 leading, but you could barely tell in the video because my lights were too far away from the tracks and my camera wasn't close enough. Now I do want to put out some caveats here. I purchased this light separately before I watched trains. This was not a purchase to make my videos better. I had this a few months before I started going out and watching trains. I'm not saying you need to get one of these. I'm not plugging the company at all, but I'm just telling you guys what I use for my truck setup here. All right, we're gonna go ahead and talk about our most useful part of recording everything and making sure it looks good. It's our cameras. We can't record anything if we don't have good cameras. Now this will depend on what you use to record your trains. Everybody makes fun of the Android for having poor cameras. Use whatever camera you want, whatever camera you're comfortable with, whatever camera you're familiar with. That's gonna be your number one tactic when you are recording trains at night. Now I use an iPhone XS and I used to record my videos, particularly 19, 20, and 21 were all at night. My very first videos, and I was recording in 720p at 30 frames per second. Now, is that a bad quality? It can be. I was really upset with the images that I was getting. They weren't clean, they weren't good, they just looked bad. Nothing about them was really turning out to what I wanted them to be. So in the fall, when I came back to school here in Muncie at Ball State, I did a little research and I found out that you could increase your camera quality to 1080p. And this was on my old phone too, that I could actually figure out that you could do that. Now, I had done that and I realized that all my videos just looked so much better. And my videos at night were looking cleaner, crisper, just everything about them was better. So increasing your camera quality on your smartphones can definitely help a lot. Now, I don't know a lot about DSLR cameras and stuff like that. I know it's like increasing the shutter speed or decreasing the shutter speed. I don't know anything about those, but you guys can definitely do some research on them pertaining to your camera in particular and figuring out which camera settings you need for low light photography or low light videography, especially on like actual camcorders and cameras, video recorders and stuff like that. I don't know a whole lot about that stuff, but if you're on an iPhone, just open up your camera app, open up your settings, go to your camera on your settings, and change that to a higher quality. I personally don't shoot in 4K. I'm sure I know it looks a lot better at night than 1080p, but I personally don't shoot in 4K because it has trouble rendering on my Final Cut Pro. It's up to date, it always has been, it just has trouble on there. I don't know what it is, but yeah, you can go ahead and do that. Shoot in 4K if you want. I don't personally, but I know it looks better than 1080p. But that's the number one thing that I did when my camera quality was not too good. And also, sorry for squinting so much. I need to face this way to be in the light, and that's exactly the way that the wind is blowing. And if I face this way, I kind of get this dark image. Oh, but Brett, just use your light bar. Ugh, shut up. Yeah. Then I'll go ahead and wrap it up for camera quality. I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. I mean, I know this was kind of like the longest segment, but to me, it feels like it was kind of drawn out and not really useful information. So yeah. All right, and here is one more time. We're gonna take a look at the cab of the lights here. So these are gonna be your fog lights. These are gonna be your headlights. These are gonna be your fog lights and your headlights. These are gonna be your fog lights, headlights, and the light bar. and this is going to be just the light bar. So you can see that the light bar adds a good amount of range and stuff. It's kind of hard to see because we're not in complete pitch black here, because we do have some lights over there as well as the lights coming off the building. So we're going to go ahead and go to Perkins, and we're going to do the same thing, and we're also going to talk about the lighting over there as well. Okay, so here we are at Perkins. We have the old factory here that was refurbished into apartments, and that's why we have a parking lot obviously lit up. So we go ahead and clean off the windshield here because, you know, it's been snowing. So we go ahead and show you the fog lights. Not bad. The headlights, pretty good. Obviously these are the standard lights that you have ooh, bunny, do you see it? Okay, my bad for getting distracted. So obviously these are the lights that you have. They're your running lights. They come standard on most cars. This bunny is just doing whatever it wants. So we're gonna go ahead and add in the fog lights, and that kind of adds a little bit of the lower vision on here. Stuff that you wouldn't see, you know, directly in front of you, may give you a little bit of a wider view. Let me go ahead and add the light bar into it. And you can just see that it just lights up so much more, especially with the building here on the side. It just adds so much extra light. And then you turn everything off and just the light bar, you know, it's arguably debatable whether it's better than all the other lights that I have on my car. So just the light bar, and then the other lights with the light bar. It's just such a difference. And obviously, you know, the headlights will have a wider range, but you know, you can pick and choose on which ones you want to use. All right, and here we are. Oh, my bad. So here we are across the street. We were just over there, and you can tell that the lighting over here is just so much better. Now, can you shoot trains like this? Sure. You may not get the engine numbers. It may not look how you want it to be, but having these two lights right here really helps. And if you want to go down there where those two lights are, then that can help as well. It really just depends on what extra lighting that you brought with you that will be able to help. So here in the parking lot, it's pretty good lighting, I'm not gonna lie. If they had a couple of light posts right here, then it would work even better. I've shot a couple of trains from this side. A lot of them have been train meets and stuff like that where we don't want to risk being caught on the wrong side. There's the bunny again. He's doing bunny things. Where'd it go? Anyway. So yeah, you can kind of pick and... Oh, there he is. What's up, dude? So you can pick and choose where you want to be for the trains. You know, obviously train meets and stuff kind of have a little bit of restrictions if you want to catch them perfectly, or if you don't care about that, then just go wherever you want. But yeah, this works out literally just fine. And if I didn't have a light bar, I would just turn my headlights on here and just use the lighting from behind me and get some good views of the trains. Okay, so the last place we're going to talk about here is the Muncie Mall. This is the Star Bank that I go to late at night when I can't catch a train at 6th Street. It's pretty good. It's got a little bit of background lighting, but it's not the best place to go. It has a lot of flaws. It's too far from the tracks in order to orientate the truck right with the light bar. It can be better, but it's not the best. So the mall is good because in the daytime, when the sun's on the right side, you can go and sit in the middle and you can get a wide shot of the trains going either direction, north or south. It's pretty good. So yeah, it has its benefits, it has its low points. It's useful when I can't go anywhere else, but the list pretty much ends there. So the last thing that I want to talk about is, get my balance here? Okay. The last thing I want to talk about is crossing gates and a little bit about card headlight truck orientation. So the first thing we're going to talk about is crossing gates. If you're going to catch things at a crossing gate, good luck. The orientation of the gate and the way that the road and the gate kind of collide is a big thing. Sometimes the tracks will rise up, and at that point you're kind of screwed if you're trying to catch the engine numbers, because you're just probably not going to see them. And another thing is, if you're literally just relying on the flashing lights of the gates, you're not going to see anything. The best thing you'll probably be able to see is the locomotive type, or what road it is. And the list pretty much ends there. You're not going to get a whole lot if you're just using the gates. But if you pair your headlights with the gates and the correct orientation of them, you will probably be able to see the engine numbers, but it might not be the best video. Finally, we're going to talk about engine numbers and orientation. So on BNSF and CSX particularly with their ES40 DCs, their older models, it's like 5200 to 5450 or something like that. Those numbers are hard to read because they don't have the reflective stuff on them, the material. And BNSF has some of those as well, whereas they're just hard to read. They're not good. It's difficult to read them, and sometimes you're just gonna have to accept that. You just can't catch the engine numbers on everything. So that's something that I've learned. One thing that you can try to mitigate with that is, if you know that the lighting isn't good, you can say out the engine numbers. So then with me at least, you know, I can put them in the top, one of the top corners of the screen, whichever one I decide to do. And you can use that, and then you can be like, okay, here are the engine numbers, even though you can't read them in the video. So that's something that I choose to do if I know the lighting is going to be bad. This place is kind of sketching me out a little bit, so I'm going to wrap this up. Okay, and finally, engine numbers, or orientation. I said engine numbers already. Anyway, orientation. It depends on where I go. So at 6th Street, my orientation of the vehicle is going to be a little bit different than where I go at Perkins, because Perkins is crouching down and it hurts my knees. What the hell was that? Drop off at Kohl's. All right, I'm gonna finish this up. This is getting fucking sketchy. Okay, so orientation. So at 6th Street, it's a little bit different. I need my keys. What am I doing? That's it. Don't just leave your keys in your car while you're doing stuff. So orientation at 6th Street is gonna be different than Perkins, because Perkins is a straight track, and 6th Street they're coming off of the curve. So at Perkins, I try to put it a little more perpendicular to the tracks with a slight angle, maybe 20 to 30 degrees, because and you know, hopefully as a filmer, the videographer, you don't want that straight up flat angle. You want something different. So that's what I try to do. And then 6th Street with them coming off the curve and down low. So that just kind of creates just an overall better view to begin with. But you know, you have your own preferences with that. So you do what works best for you. If you want to have a completely flat angle, go for it. If you want to have a better angle, or one that's, you know, not flat and not just straight on, do it. Do what works best for you. Ultimately, that's what this whole video is about, is just doing what works best for you. And I'm just here to offer some tips and tricks on what I use in my nighttime videos, because I have a lot of them and I've learned a lot of stuff. So I thought I'd pass it on to you guys. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up because it's a little past 3 in the morning. I've been gathering footage for a couple hours now, watching some trains go by. But if all of this sounds like fun to you, I highly recommend you do it. If you have specific night trains that only run at night and you want to see them, use some of these tips. Go out and see them. Railfanning at night is so much fun. It just adds a whole new level of excitement and, you know, testing your camera abilities and just seeing some new stuff. So highly recommend you do it if you can. If you know you don't want to stay out all night, then don't do that. You know, what I do doesn't have to be what you do. But yeah, using some of these tips and tricks can help you improve your video quality and your production quality if you want to use some of these in your videos. Yeah, not everybody has access to a light bar. I get that. That's why I offered some alternatives and things like that. But definitely go out and try it. If you're by yourself, it's great time to just think, chill, relax, some self-reflection if that's what you're into. But if you're out with friends, you can have some bonding time, you can crack jokes, you can get McDonald's at 3 in the morning. We've done so much stuff late at night. We've been out all night. We've literally been out daylight to daylight. Some of the best memories I have are being out with the boys at night. So if it's something that you want to do, definitely recommend that you go for it. It's a lot of fun, but just make sure that you're prepared. Don't be going on private property. If you're getting videos, just make sure that they're good and stuff. Well, I guess they can be bad videos. They can be whatever videos you want. I don't care. But tips and tricks should help you a little bit with your rail fanning and hopefully getting the best quality image that you can. So if you like this video, my name is Brett Calvin. I do videos, rail fanning Muncie, daytime, nighttime, any type of weather. You can go and check out my channel. Obviously just go ahead and click on it or tap it, whatever platform you're on. Go ahead and check out my videos if you're interested. If not, that's okay. But new videos coming out soon, and I'll see you guys next time.